No other industry would ever consider operating a business without a bank account.
Yeah.
There are no other industries without banking. Okay, my name is Mel Barnes and I am the Chief Operations Officer at Oklahoma State Bank. I've been in banking for about 26 or 27 years. We offer services to cannabis businesses that any industry in the world should expect to have for them. We are a state chartered bank. Whether your charter is a national charter or a state charter, we're all following the same regulations. We all have the same reporting requirements with FinCEN. From the point of view of the business owner, there is no too big or too small. The key for us is that they are compliant. And so if our customers are not compliant with OMMA, we are not compliant. And because of that reason, we have some software in place that provides ticklers and reminders that your license is going to expire, and also we need this other documentation. So we have a document management system, really, that is keeping us and our customers on top of their licensing. In addition to that, we use that same platform to onboard all of our customers. So anybody is eligible as long as they have all of the things they need to satisfy the OMMA and all of their corporate entity docs and that kind of stuff. Then all of these businesses are eligible for banking. Well, our fees, I think, are pretty competitive. We do have a monthly $100 fee and then 20 basis points, which is 0.20% of your deposits. Those basis points, or that deposit compliance fee, is capped every month at $500. So you would reach that cap if you had deposited $250,000. So the most this account could ever cost you is $600 a month. The service that you get, we're not talking about customer service. We're talking about the service of being able to use your money to be able to pay your utility bills, to be able to pay your employees direct deposit, to write into their banks. And we would also like to be their bank, by the way. This is all a service that I don't think you can afford not to pay for. Trying to run all over town with a pile of cash in your pocket and pay your taxes and your utility bill and, go to Lowe's and whip out $2,000 to pay. I mean, that is difficult. And in the United States, banking in the United States is very far-reaching, except for in this industry. We really spent a long time doing our due diligence before we ever even launched this to make sure that we had software in place, the staffing in place, even in the lobbies, because as you know, this is a very heavy cash industry. So it was very important to us to get everybody in place before we said go. So we're not really about looking for this type of deposit target or, this size company. We want to help our communities. This is in every community in Oklahoma, and we want to be able to provide them all of the services and the safety and security that all of our industries have. What I see a lot of is a non-cannabis friendly bank has a long-term relationship with a customer, and they won't bank their cannabis business, but they still see personal items going through that are cannabis related and that kind of thing, because it is such a difficult environment to be able to bank your cannabis business. All of these people who still don't have a bank, they've got to pay taxes. They've got to pay their utilities. They have to pay their service providers. That is a real challenge, and people will sometimes do that through their personal account. But once that bank figures out this is really a cannabis business, they don't even want their personal accounts. The reason for that, in the bank's defense, they don't want to have to do the reporting that we have geared up to do. And as soon as they can identify that and say this is a cannabis business, then that is their responsibility to the Fed. So that's why they say no. And that's why they write people letters and say, I'm sorry, we're going to have to close your accounts. So we're seeing more and more personal accounts going with these business owners, or rather coming over to us. And so we're really able to capture more of the entire relationship. And that's what we want to do. We can better serve our customers if we understand them better, if we are able to help them with their personal finances as well. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of that move over actually, and I didn't really anticipate it. I didn't see the forest for the trees. We were so intentional about our due diligence for the business side, being able to help these people with their total relationship has been a nice surprise for us. But I have not yet developed some good relationships with bankers in other states. I do understand, though, that we have more licenses in Oklahoma than any other state, by far. And so that probably means that there is more potential here, more growth here than we're going to see in some of these other states. And so Oklahoma is a very cannabis-friendly state, not just banking. I think industry-wide you can see that. And so we anticipate being able to capitalize on that opportunity and be able to grow our services down the road. We want to be able to lend to cannabis operations. We want to be able to provide payments through Visa and MasterCard to cannabis companies. And I have even spoken to some of the banks here in Oklahoma that I know are banking cannabis, at least to some extent. But they really don't talk about that. They don't advertise that. They don't advertise their desire to be in this industry, and I just don't feel like they're embracing it like we have done with our business plan at Oklahoma State Bank. You would never run a convenience store or any other store or a car wash without a bank account. And I know that a lot of the business owners that I talk to every day have other businesses as well. And I don't think they're running those businesses without a bank account. So a bank account is not really the fluff, it's essential. You have got to have a bank account so that you can pay your vendors, so that your suppliers, or rather your customers, your buyers can pay you. If you're in a retail situation, those consumers want to be able to use some sort of an electronic type of payment to make this purchase. And if you don't have an account to deposit those payments to, you're missing out on business. So it's just a very essential part of every business and every entity. And being able to have all of these services at your disposal, just like you do in your personal life, is really going to change the way you do business. And everything is then going to be transparent. So all of the documentation is there. Examiners love it on our end. Your auditors are going to love it on your end. Your CPA is going to find it a lot easier to help you take care of your business if you have some financial records. They need to be organized and have all of their ducks and their docs in a row. We need to be able to see all of your entity docs, your beneficial ownership. Who owns this business? We have to be able to establish who the true owners are. And so if it's 25% or more ownership, then we do due diligence on those owners as well. And that's not different in this industry than it is in other industries. It's just, there's just so many things we have to go through. So we want all of their entity docs, all their ownership documentation. We want their licensing. So they're going to have OMA licensing, but every municipality has their own rules about what they have to have. Some of them have a certificate of compliance just for that municipality. So everything that they have already done and every hoop they have already jumped through, we're probably going to ask for it. We do all of our onboarding online, so they can just create a profile. We'll send them an invitation to this. They create a profile and they can just start answering the questionnaire and uploading their documents. Probably these customers feel like it's a 10-month process, but it really isn't. We're really looking at more like 10 business days. They have to do the hard work first. They have to do the heavy lifting by getting everything up in this portal, uploaded in this portal. We can review it. Our compliance department will review to make sure they have everything that they need. You know, at any given time, there could be as many as 35 or 40 accounts in the queue. So people who have submitted their application, they're ready for review, and we've got people reviewing all day long. That's just what they do. So really, you ought to expect a couple of weeks-ish, and you can make your first deposit. Well, if you have a CPA, they are already going to have all of these records. They will have already advised you, you have to have this, 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 and this. So someone who comes to us as a referral from a CPA, we have a pretty good idea that they have everything they need. Or this firm, the CPA firm, would not even take their business. So we love it when we hear from attorneys. We love it when we hear from CPAs and they have good referrals, because I know that Lawrence has completely vetted everyone that he ever shares with me. And so those are the people who can quickly upload their documents and get the ball rolling and have an account open in virtually 10 days. So we currently have 3 locations where you can make deposits, and we do have customers all over the state. And we partner with a armored cash service called PayCash, and that is they have a Tulsa vault. And so we work with them for customers who may be in some of those far corners of the state and need to get their cash to the bank. They take that directly to the Fed for us, and the customer gets immediate credit for it, for the cash. So it's a really good partnership, and it's an inexpensive partnership for the account holder. Just like Green Growth CPAs, Oklahoma State Bank thinks there is a future in the cannabis industry in Oklahoma. And we feel like Oklahoma will be a central part of the national cannabis industry. And I'd like to invite you to come to our website and take a look, fill in your information, and we'll send you information about the services, information about our pricing, and as well as a link to get you started.